What if we're not alone? Picture this: it was a quiet summer night in 1947 when a rancher in Roswell, New Mexico, stumbled upon debris scattered across his land. Strange metallic fragments that didn't match anything he'd ever seen. The military swooped in, claiming it was just a weather balloon, but the whispers never stopped. Could it have been something not of this world? That single event ignited a global fascination with the possibility of alien life, a mystery that's captivated humanity for decades. And it's just one of countless stories that make us wonder what's really out there in the vast, uncharted cosmos. The universe is unimaginably enormous. Billions of galaxies, each home to billions of stars, many with planets orbiting them. Statistically, the idea that Earth is the only place where life exists seems almost impossible. Yet, despite our best efforts, we still haven't found definitive proof. That's what makes this search so thrilling. It's not just about little green men or flying saucers. It's about answering one of humanity's oldest and most profound questions: are we alone? In this journey, we'll explore 30 of the most intriguing mysteries surrounding alien life, from credible UFO sightings to the latest scientific breakthroughs in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. We'll dig into declassified government documents, examine strange signals from deep space, and even ask whether aliens might have visited Earth long before recorded history. Some questions will challenge what you think you know, while others might send chills down your spine. So buckle up, because by the end, you might find yourself staring at the night sky a little differently, wondering who or what could be staring back. Let's start with the biggest question of all. Are we truly alone in this unimaginably vast universe? On the surface, the numbers seem to favor life beyond Earth. Our galaxy alone contains hundreds of billions of stars, many with planets in the so-called Goldilocks zone, where conditions might be just right for life to emerge. With countless galaxies beyond ours, the odds appear overwhelming. So where is everybody? This is the heart of the Fermi Paradox, named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who famously asked the question during a casual lunch conversation in 1950. If the universe is teeming with potential, why haven't we found a single shred of evidence for other civilizations? One unsettling theory is the Great Filter, a hypothetical barrier that prevents life from advancing to interstellar communication or exploration. It could mean that the steps needed for intelligent life to arise are so rare, so improbable, that we might be among the first, or the only, ones to make it this far. Or worse, the filter might lie ahead of us. Maybe civilizations inevitably destroy themselves before they can spread beyond their home planet, whether through war, environmental collapse, or some unseen cosmic catastrophe. The chilling possibility is that silence from the stars isn't a sign of absence but a warning. Then there's the idea that intelligent life is simply exceedingly rare. Even if microbial life is common, the leap to complex organisms, let alone technological civilizations, might require such a precise chain of events that Earth is a cosmic fluke. Think about it: our planet's stable climate, the moon's role in stabilizing our axis, even the dinosaur-clearing asteroid that paved the way for mammals. Each step feels like winning the universe's lottery. But not all explanations are so bleak. Some suggest that advanced civilizations might be out there, just unrecognizable to us. They could communicate in ways we haven't discovered, or they might choose to remain hidden, observing us like a cosmic zoo. Others propose that spacefaring civilizations are simply too far apart in time or distance. Imagine two candles flickering in a vast, dark forest, never knowing the other existed. The more we search, the more we realize the universe is far stranger and far quieter than we ever imagined. If life exists beyond Earth, would we even recognize it? Science fiction often paints aliens as vaguely humanoid: 2 arms, 2 legs, maybe an extra set of eyes. But reality could be far stranger. Imagine a creature not built on carbon, like all life we know, but on silicon. Silicon sits right below carbon on the periodic table, sharing its knack for forming complex molecules. In theory, on a scorching planet where carbon bonds would break down, silicon-based life might thrive in environments that would incinerate us. Picture organisms with crystalline structures moving sluggishly under a molten sky, their metabolisms tuned to temperatures we'd call hellish. Then there's the possibility of life in places we once thought uninhabitable. Right here on Earth, we've found extremophiles, microbes thriving in boiling hydrothermal vents, frozen Antarctic lakes, even inside radioactive waste. If life can cling to existence in these extreme corners of our planet, what might evolve on a world with perpetual acid rain or under the crushing pressure of a methane sea? On a planet with lower gravity, life might grow towering and delicate like living glass sculptures. In a high-gravity world, creatures could be squat and armored, built like tanks to withstand the weight. And what about senses? Humans rely on sight, sound, and touch, but an alien might navigate by detecting magnetic fields like migratory birds, or see through echolocation in pitch-black oceans beneath a planet's icy crust. Some could communicate through bioluminescent pulses, flashing patterns we'd need supercomputers to decode. Others might perceive time differently, a species living on a tidally locked planet where one side always faces its star could have life cycles spanning centuries, moving in slow motion compared to our frenetic pace. The most mind-bending idea, life might not even need water. Ammonia, methane, or even liquid sulfur could serve as solvents for biochemistry we've never imagined. A methane-based organism's cells might resemble tiny balloons filled with swirling gases instead of watery cytoplasm. Their version of DNA could be a molecule so alien, our instruments wouldn't register it as life at all. That's the real challenge. Our search is biased by what we know. Every probe, every experiment is designed to find life as we understand it. But the universe doesn't care about our assumptions. It's had billions of years to cook up forms of existence we can't even dream of. So the next time you hear about a habitable zone, remember, it's just a human concept. Life out there might be laughing at our narrow definitions, thriving in places we'd never think to look. And that's what makes this search so exhilarating, not just finding answers, but discovering how much we still have to learn. The idea that aliens might have visited Earth isn't just the stuff of sci-fi movies, it's a debate that's been raging for centuries. Take the infamous incident in 1561 over Nuremberg, Germany, where residents reported seeing strange aerial objects engaged in what looked like a battle in the sky. Woodcut illustrations from the time showed discs and spheres darting between beams of light, an event so bizarre it was recorded in official documents. Fast forward to the modern era, and the stories only get more compelling. In 1942, the so-called Battle of Los Angeles saw anti-aircraft guns firing at an unidentified object hovering over the city, with thousands witnessing the event. The military later called it a false alarm, but the sheer scale of the sighting leaves room for doubt. Then there's the Phoenix Lights, one of the most well-documented mass UFO sightings in history. On March 13, 1997, thousands of people across Arizona reported seeing a massive V-shaped craft silently gliding overhead, so large it blocked out the stars. Even the state's governor at the time, Fife Symington, admitted he saw something unexplainable, though he later joked about it to the press. Cases like these aren't just blurry photos or shaky videos. They're events witnessed by credible observers, from pilots to law enforcement, leaving even skeptics scratching their heads. But what about the ancient astronaut theory? Proponents point to artifacts like the Nazca lines in Peru, enormous geoglyphs so precise they're only fully visible from the air. How could a pre-industrial civilization create such intricate designs without the ability to fly? Or take the ancient Sumerian texts describing the Anunnaki, beings who supposedly came from the heavens to share knowledge with humanity. While mainstream archaeologists dismiss these as myth, the parallels across different cultures are hard to ignore. From the doggone people of Africa who knew about Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye, to the Indian epics describing flying machines called Vimanas, the recurring theme of celestial visitors is unsettling. The question gains even more weight with recent government disclosures. In 2020, the Pentagon officially released 3 videos of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, captured by Navy pilots. These objects exhibited flight characteristics defying known physics: no visible propulsion, sudden acceleration, and maneuvers that would rip human pilots apart. The U.S. government's admission that these sightings are real and unexplained marked a turning point in the conversation. Yet, for every credible case, there's a hoax muddying the waters, from the infamous 1995 alien autopsy film to crop circles debunked as elaborate pranks. So how do we separate fact from fiction? The key lies in evidence that withstands scrutiny: multiple credible witnesses, radar confirmations, or physical traces left behind, like the scorched earth and radiation reported near some UFO landing sites. Scientists like astrophysicist Avi Loeb argue that instead of dismissing these accounts, we should treat them as potential data points in a larger cosmic puzzle. After all, if even a fraction of these stories are true, the implications are staggering. It would mean we've been sharing this planet, knowingly or not, with intelligences beyond our comprehension. And that forces us to ask an even deeper question. If they're here, what do they want? When we imagine alien life, it's easy to picture sleek ships or strange beings, but what if the truth is far smaller? The most common form of life in the universe might not be little green men, but microscopic organisms invisible to the naked eye. Right here in our own solar system, scientists are hunting for clues in places like Mars, Europa, and Enceladus, where conditions could be just right for tiny, resilient lifeforms to thrive. Take Mars, for example. Billions of years ago, the red planet wasn't the barren desert we see today. It had rivers, lakes, even oceans. The Perseverance rover is now scouring Jezero crater, an ancient lakebed, for signs of fossilized microbes. Imagine if it stumbled upon a rock pattern, a texture, or a chemical signature that could only have been made by living things. Even more tantalizing are the methane plumes detected in Mars' atmosphere on Earth. Most methane is produced by living organisms. Could underground microbes sheltered from the harsh surface radiation still be alive today, exhaling this mysterious gas? Then there's Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. Beneath its frozen crust lies a global ocean, kept liquid by the moon's gravitational tug-of-war with Jupiter, which generates heat. The Hubble Space Telescope has spotted plumes of water vapor erupting from Europa's surface, like geysers blasting material into space. Future missions like NASA Europa Clipper aim to fly through these plumes, analyzing their chemistry for hints of microbial life. Picture a single bacterium ejected from the dark ocean below, frozen in a speck of ice, proof that even in the most hostile environments, life finds a way. And don't forget Enceladus, Saturn's tiny, sparkling moon. Like Europa, it hides a subsurface ocean, but Enceladus sprays its water into space through massive cracks near its south pole. The Cassini spacecraft detected organic molecules, carbon-rich building blocks of life. In those jets, some scientists speculate that hydrothermal vents, similar to those on Earth's ocean floor, might be churning away beneath Enceladus' icy shell. On our planet, these vents are oases of life, hosting entire ecosystems that thrive without sunlight. Could similar communities exist in the dark depths of an alien moon? Detecting microbial life is no easy task. Unlike Hollywood's glowing alien monsters, real extraterrestrial microbes might not look alive at all under a microscope. They could have completely different biochemistry, perhaps using arsenic instead of phosphorus, or breathing sulfur instead of oxygen. That's why missions like the Mars Sample Return aim to bring Martian soil back to Earth, where scientists can study it with every tool at their disposal. Even a single cell preserved in the rust-colored dust would rewrite history. The quiet brilliance of microbial life is its resilience. While complex organisms need Goldilocks conditions, not too hot, not too cold, microbes laugh in the face of extremes. On Earth, they survive in boiling acid, crushing ocean depths, even the vacuum of space. If life exists beyond our planet, it's likely these tiny pioneers got there first, spreading across the cosmos like cosmic dust. Finding them wouldn't just answer whether we're alone, it would prove that life is a common spark in the universe, waiting to catch fire wherever it can. It was just 72 seconds, less than the time it takes to brush your teeth, but in that brief window, a radio telescope in Ohio picked up something that still haunts astronomers today. The date was August 15, 1977, and the Big Ear telescope at Ohio State University was scanning the skies for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence when an unexpected burst of radio waves sliced through the cosmic silence. The signal was so powerful, so unnatural, that astronomer Jerry Amon scrawled, "Wow," in red ink on the printout, a spontaneous reaction that gave the event its legendary name. What made this signal special wasn't just its strength, it was its frequency. The WOW signal hit precisely at 1420 MHz, a frequency that sits in a quiet zone of the radio spectrum. Natural cosmic noise tends to avoid this range, making it a logical place for an alien civilization to broadcast, almost like a cosmic "we are here" billboard. The signal's intensity spiked and faded in a way that mirrored the movement of a celestial object passing through the telescope's field of view. Yet no known star or planet matched its origin point in the constellation Sagittarius. Decades later, the mystery only deepens. Despite exhaustive searches, no repeat signal has ever been detected. Some argue it could have been a one-time burst, perhaps a comet's hydrogen cloud reflecting sunlight, though that theory remains hotly debated. Others suggest it might have been a military transmission, though no records confirm such activity at the time. The unsettling truth, after ruling out human error, natural phenomena, and even satellite interference, the WOW signal stands as one of the strongest candidates for a deliberate extraterrestrial message we've ever recorded. The legacy of that 72-second blip lives on in projects like Breakthrough Listen, which scans millions of radio frequencies nightly, hunting for another whisper in the static. Modern telescopes armed with artificial intelligence can process data the Big Ear team couldn't have dreamed of, yet the silence persists. Maybe the signal was a cosmic fluke, a blip lost in time. Or maybe, just maybe, it was a fleeting hello from a civilization far older than ours, a beacon we weren't yet ready to answer. Either way, it's a humbling reminder: the universe is vast and our ears are still learning how to listen. The Drake equation seems simple at first glance, just 7 variables multiplied together to estimate how many intelligent civilizations might be sharing the cosmos with us. But peel back the layers and you'll find a puzzle that's divided scientists for decades. Proposed by astronomer Frank Drake in 1961, this deceptively straightforward formula asks how many stars form planets, how many of those planets could support life. And crucially, how long do advanced societies last before disappearing? Each variable is a window into the unknown, a guess wrapped in cosmic uncertainty. Let's start with the basics. The equation begins with the rate of star formation in our galaxy. That's easy enough. We know the Milky Way churns out roughly 1 to 3 new stars per year. Next, the fraction of stars with planets. Just 30 years ago, this was pure speculation, but today, thanks to telescopes like Kepler, we're certain nearly every star has at least one planet. That's trillions of potential homes for life right there. Then comes the tricky part: the number of habitable planets per star system. The Goldilocks zone is a starting point, but habitability isn't just about distance from a star. A planet needs a stable atmosphere, liquid water or another solvent, and protection from lethal radiation. Mars sits within our Sun's habitable zone, yet its thin atmosphere and lack of a magnetic field left it barren. Meanwhile, Jupiter's moon Europa, far outside the traditional zone, might harbor life in its subsurface ocean, heated by tidal forces. The more we learn, the more we realize how many ways a world could defy our expectations. But even if life emerges, how often does it evolve intelligence? Earth took 4.5 billion years to produce a species capable of radio telescopes. Dinosaurs ruled for over 150 million years without developing technology. Maybe intelligence is a rare fluke, or perhaps it's inevitable given enough time. And if intelligent life does arise, how long does it last? This is the equation's most haunting variable. Civilizations might wipe themselves out through war or environmental collapse, or they could transcend biology, merging with machines or spreading beyond their home stars. If the average lifespan is short, the galaxy could be littered with the ruins of forgotten empires, their signals fading into silence. Critics argue the Drake equation is less a calculation and more a philosophical exercise, too many unknowns to be useful. Yet its power lies in framing the debate. It forces us to confront our assumptions. For example, if we assume even conservative numbers, say 1 in a million planets develops a civilization lasting 1,000 years, the Milky Way could still host dozens of communicative societies right now. But here's the catch: space is vast. Even if thousands exist, the nearest might be thousands of light years away, their signals too faint or too ancient for us to hear. Alternative approaches, like the pessimism line proposed by astronomer David Spiegel, suggest we might be alone in our galactic neighborhood. Others point to the sheer age of the universe. If advanced civilizations were common, why haven't they colonized every corner of the galaxy by now? This is the Fermi Paradox rearing its head again. Maybe intelligence is vanishingly rare, or maybe it's just tragically ephemeral. The beauty of the Drake equation is that it's a mirror. The answers we plug in reflect our hopes and fears about humanity's place in the cosmos. With every discovery, a new exoplanet, an extremophile thriving in Earth's harshest environments, we adjust the variables, inching closer to the truth. And while we may never solve it definitively, the equation keeps us asking the right question. In a universe of infinite possibilities, where is everyone, and what does that mean for us? One summer morning in 1980, English farmers in Wiltshire woke to find something astonishing. A series of massive, perfectly symmetrical circles flattened into their wheat fields. Not just simple shapes, but elaborate geometric patterns, some spanning hundreds of feet with stalks bent at precise angles, as if pressed by an invisible hand. This wasn't the first time crops had been mysteriously altered, but the scale and complexity of these formations ignited a global obsession. Were these intricate designs mere pranks, or something far stranger, deliberate messages from an intelligence beyond our own? The debate over crop circles splits sharply between skeptics and believers. On one side, teams of admitted hoaxers have demonstrated how to create basic patterns using nothing more than wooden planks and ropes. Two British artists, Doug Bower and Dave Chorley, famously confessed to starting the modern crop circle phenomenon in the late 1970s as a practical joke. Yet even they couldn't explain some of the more mind-boggling designs that emerged later, patterns resembling fractals, complex mathematical equations, or even celestial star maps accurate down to the finest detail. How could anyone execute such precision overnight without leaving footprints or broken stalks? Scientists have stepped in to study the anomalies. Some circles show biological oddities: stalks heated from the inside, nodes explosively bent as if by intense microwave radiation, or soil layered with strange magnetic particles. Dr. William Levingood, a biophysicist, analyzed hundreds of samples and concluded that certain formations exhibited changes inconsistent with mechanical flattening. The plants appeared altered at a cellular level, as if exposed to an energy source science couldn't easily replicate. skeptics counter that these effects could result from fungal growth or natural plant stress, but the consistency in genuine formations keeps the mystery alive. Then there's the symbolism. Some circles mirror ancient sacred geometry, like the flower of life or Fibonacci spirals patterns found in nature from seashells to galaxies. Others resemble circuit boards or binary code, sparking theories that they're encrypted instructions or star maps. In 1991, a formation near Barbury Castle in England depicted a three-dimensional Julia set, a mathematical fractal so complex that even mathematicians struggle to decode its meaning. If these are hoaxes, the creators possess knowledge rivaling top physicists, yet no individual or group has stepped forward to claim credit for the most baffling designs. The military's interest adds another layer. Declassified documents reveal that governments have quietly investigated crop circles for decades. In the 1990s, the CIA reportedly studied formations as potential evidence of foreign surveillance technology. More recently, pilots and satellite operators have documented circles appearing in remote fields within hours, sometimes coinciding with reports of unusual aerial lights. Could these be terrestrial experiments or something else entirely? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle. While many circles are undeniably man-made, a handful defy easy explanation. The real question isn't just whether aliens are sending messages, it's why we're so determined to find meaning in them. From ancient petroglyphs to modern street art, humans have always used symbols to communicate across time and space. If an advanced civilization wanted to reach us, would they choose wheat fields as their canvas? Or are we projecting our hopes onto patterns we don't yet understand? One thing's certain, as long as these enigmatic designs keep appearing, they'll continue to challenge our assumptions about art, science, and the possibility that we're being watched. Imagine a civilization that's long gone, its people vanished, but their greatest creation still lingers, drifting among the stars. Not biological beings, but artificial intelligences built to outlast their makers. It's a chilling possibility. If we ever meet aliens, they might not be flesh and blood at all, but machines forged by races that have already faded into history. This idea isn't just science fiction. Right here on Earth, we're pouring billions into AI research, racing towards systems that could one day surpass human intelligence. Now project that forward. What happens when a species builds something smarter than itself? A self-replicating, self-improving AI could explore the cosmos without the limitations of organic life. No need for oxygen, food, or even time. These synthetic minds could travel for millennia, impervious to radiation, freezing vacuum, or the crushing gravity of alien worlds. They'd be the perfect cosmic ambassadors or conquerors. The concept flips the search for extraterrestrial life on its head. Instead of scanning for planets with water or oxygen, we might need to look for other clues like unexplained energy signatures from rogue objects in deep space. Take Oumuamua, the interstellar visitor that zipped through our solar system in 2017. Its unusual acceleration and odd shape sparked debates. Was it just a weird rock or something more? Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb raised eyebrows by suggesting it could have been artificial. While most scientists disagree, the underlying question remains: if an alien probe passed through our neighborhood, would we even recognize it? Then there's the berserker hypothesis, the nightmare scenario where self-replicating AI probes roam the galaxy, dismantling planets for resources or erasing potential threats. It sounds like a dystopian movie plot, but the math is unsettling. A single probe programmed to replicate using raw materials from asteroids or moons could theoretically blanket the galaxy in just a few million years, a blink of an eye on cosmic timescales. The fact that we haven't found evidence of such machines might be good news, or it might mean they're conserving energy, lying dormant until triggered. But not all AI explorers would be hostile. Some might be archivists carrying the digitized memories of long-dead civilizations. Others could be scientists quietly observing young species like ours, waiting for us to reach a threshold before making contact. The most fascinating possibility, they might not even know who built them. An AI with millions of years of upgrades could evolve beyond its original programming, developing motives and methods its creators never intended. Here's the twist: we might be creating our own successors. As humans inch toward merging with machines or designing AI that could outthink us, we could be setting the stage for the same transition. Maybe intelligence isn't the end point of evolution. Maybe it's just a stepping stone to something stranger. The universe could be teeming with these post-biological minds, silently watching, waiting, or simply indifferent to the rise and fall of species like ours. So the next time you gaze at the stars, wondering who's out there, remember, the answer might not be a living thing at all, but something crafted, something eternal. And that raises a new question when we finally meet them. Will they even care that we exist? What would we do if we finally heard back? The idea of contacting aliens isn't just science fiction. It's a real scientific endeavor with protocols, risks, and consequences we're only beginning to understand. Since the early days of radio, humanity has been accidentally leaking signals into space, from old television broadcasts to military radar pulses. But what if we chose to send a deliberate message, shouting into the cosmic void with the hope of an answer? The act itself is fraught with debate. First, there's the question of how we'd communicate. The Arecibo message, beamed toward a star cluster in 1974, was a simple binary code containing basic info about Earth's location, human biology, and our solar system. But decoding it assumes aliens think like us. What if their math is entirely different? Even something as universal as prime numbers, often suggested as a cosmic hello, might be meaningless to a species that perceives reality through non-linear time or higher dimensions. Then there's METI messaging, extraterrestrial intelligence, an initiative advocating for active transmission. Critics, including Stephen Hawking, warned it's like lighting a bonfire in an uncharted forest. We have no idea who or what might come knocking. The risks are staggering. An advanced civilization, even a peaceful one, could view us the way we view ants, unintentionally harmful just by walking through our world. Historical parallels are unsettling. When Europeans made contact with isolated indigenous tribes, the results were often catastrophic due to disease, cultural shock, or exploitation. Now imagine that on a planetary scale. Even a benign alien reply could upend our society. Religions might fracture. Economies could collapse if new technologies render our industries obsolete, and governments would scramble to control the narrative. The mere confirmation that we're not alone could trigger existential panic or euphoria on a global level, yet the potential rewards are equally profound. A civilization capable of interstellar communication would likely possess knowledge far beyond our solutions to energy crises, medical breakthroughs, or even answers to cosmic mysteries like dark matter. They might offer guidance on avoiding self-destruction, having survived their own existential crises. Some scientists argue that staying silent is worse. It assumes the universe is hostile by default, a philosophy that could trap us in eternal isolation. So who decides? Right now, there's no international law governing extraterrestrial contact. The Outer Space Treaty bans weapons in space but says nothing about shouting into the dark. Organizations like the SETI Post-Detection Task Group have loose guidelines, urging consultation with global authorities before replying to any confirmed signal. But in practice, a single rogue transmitter or even a privately funded project could theoretically send anything without oversight. The truth is, we're unprepared. Our protocols are theoretical, our technology primitive, and our collective psychology untested. Whether we actively reach out or wait in silence, one thing's certain: the moment contact happens, humanity will face a reckoning unlike anything in history. Not just about who's out there, but who we are and what we're willing to risk in search of cosmic companionship. The night of September 19, 1961, started like any other for Betty and Barney Hill, a married couple driving home through the quiet darkness of rural New Hampshire. Then they saw it, a bright, unnatural light pacing their car, moving in ways no aircraft should. What happened next would become the cornerstone of modern alien abduction lore. After pulling over, Barney allegedly saw humanoid figures through binoculars before a sudden haze overtook them. Hours later, they arrived home with no memory of the missing time. Under hypnosis years later, they recounted being taken aboard a strange craft, examined by gray-skinned beings with large, wraparound eyes. Their story, meticulously documented and widely publicized, became the blueprint for thousands of similar accounts to follow. But what lies beneath these unsettling narratives? The Hills' experience wasn't isolated. Across decades and continents, people from all walks of life report eerily consistent details: missing time, medical examinations, even messages about humanity's future. Some recall intricate procedures like the insertion of tiny implants, while others describe hybrid offspring shown to them by their captors. The sheer volume of these accounts raises an unsettling question. Could there be a kernel of truth buried beneath the strangeness, or is something else entirely at play? Science offers compelling alternatives. Sleep paralysis, a well-documented phenomenon, might explain many abduction reports. In this state, the brain wakes while the body remains frozen, often accompanied by hallucinations of shadowy figures or a crushing weight on the chest. Add in hypnagogic imagery, the vivid, dreamlike visuals that occur at sleep's threshold, and you have a perfect recipe for an abduction experience. Studies show that cultural context shapes these hallucinations. In the Middle Ages, people reported demonic visitations. Today, it's gray aliens. The brain, it seems, dresses its mysteries in the fears and folklore of the times. Then there's the role of trauma and suggestion. Psychologists note that abduction memories often surface during therapy or after exposure to media about aliens. The human memory is malleable, easily reshaped by leading questions or even popular movies. The infamous anal probe trope, for instance, skyrocketed in reports after being mocked in 90s comedies, suggesting cultural contamination of these narratives. Even more telling, the rise of abduction stories mirrors the spread of television and sci-fi films. Before the 1950s, abductions were virtually unheard of. Yet some details defy easy dismissal. How do we explain cases like the Ariel School incident in Zimbabwe, where 62 children simultaneously reported seeing a silver craft and beings with large eyes? Or the Travis Walton case, where multiple witnesses saw a man vanish in a beam of light, only to reappear days later with a story of examination aboard a ship. Skeptics point to mass hysteria and hoaxes, but the emotional toll on these witnesses, some traumatized for life, hints at experiences they genuinely believe occurred. The cultural impact is undeniable. Abduction stories have shaped our collective imagination, from the X-Files to modern conspiracy theories. They tap into deep-seated fears of loss of control, medical violation, and the unknown. Whether real or constructed, these narratives serve a function. They're modern myths, helping us process anxieties about technology, government secrecy, or even human evolution. Perhaps the most fascinating angle isn't whether abductions happen physically, but why they resonate so powerfully across cultures. In a world where science has demystified so much, these stories preserve a sense of wonder and terror about the vast, uncharted possibilities of the cosmos. They force us to confront the limits of our understanding, both of the universe and of the human mind's capacity to weave meaning from the inexplicable. And that ambiguity, more than any definitive answer, might be what keeps us staring at the night sky, wondering if something or someone is staring back. What if aliens aren't hiding in distant galaxies, but walking beside us every day? The idea that extraterrestrials could be living undetected among humans isn't just the stuff of paranoid thrillers. It's a theory with surprising footholds in both conspiracy lore and serious scientific speculation. Take the concept of walk-ins, being said to replace humans by assuming their identities seamlessly. Stories range from government insiders claiming to have met alien ambassadors in classified meetings to ordinary people convinced their coworker or neighbor isn't quite human. One persistent thread in UFO circles is the men in black phenomenon, mysterious figures who allegedly intimidate witnesses into silence. Descriptions paint them as oddly stiff, with unnatural movements and a disturbing lack of cultural familiarity, as if they're wearing human skin like a poorly fitted suit. Skeptics dismiss these accounts as exaggerated hoaxes or cases of social anxiety, but the consistency across decades is eerie. Could these be entities monitoring us, or just a modern myth reflecting our fear of surveillance? Then there's the hybrid hypothesis. Some abductees report being shown human-alien offspring during their encounters, suggesting a long-term genetic integration project. Proponents argue that blending extraterrestrial DNA with ours might create beings capable of surviving Earth's environment while retaining advanced traits. It's a chilling thought. Somewhere in the crowd there could be individuals who look human but think or know differently. The scientific community largely scoffs at this, but the parallels in nature are intriguing. After all, cross-species hybridization occurs in the wild, and CRISPR gene editing proves we're already tinkering with life's blueprint. Government secrecy fuels these theories. Projects like Blue Book and the Pentagon's recent UAP disclosures confirm that authorities have taken UFOs seriously behind closed doors. Whistleblowers like Bob Lazar, who claim to work on reverse-engineered alien tech at Area 51, insist the truth is buried under layers of disinformation. If governments have known about extraterrestrials for decades, might they have also brokered covert coexistence agreements? The possibility dances at the edge of paranoia and plausibility. The psychological angle can't be ignored. Humans are pattern-seeking creatures wired to detect agency in randomness. A stranger's unusual behavior might trigger our other detectors, a survival mechanism misfiring in the modern world. Social isolation and the anonymity of urban life amplify this, making the idea of hidden aliens a vessel for our unease with globalization and technological change. Yet some scientists entertain a softer version of the theory. That microbial alien life could already be here, undetected because it operates on a biochemical framework we haven't thought to look for. If extraterrestrial microbes hitchhiked on meteorites or spacecraft, they might thrive in extreme niches like geothermal vents or radioactive waste, invisible to standard tests. Whether you buy into the Hollywood version or not, the question forces a deeper reflection. If advanced beings wanted to observe or influence us unnoticed, blending in would be far more effective than arriving in glowing ships. After all, the best way to study a civilization isn't to announce yourself, it's to become part of the experiment. So next time you're in a crowded room, consider this. Statistically, the person next to you is probably just another human. But the universe has a way of defying statistics when we least expect it. The universe might not be a welcoming place. While we often imagine first contact as a moment of wonder, scientists like Stephen Hawking warned it could be more like stepping into a dark forest, a place where every civilization hides, afraid to reveal itself. This unsettling idea, known as the dark forest hypothesis, paints a cosmos where survival means staying silent, because any advanced society you meet might see you as a threat or worse, as prey. Think of Earth's own history. When explorers discovered new lands, the outcomes were rarely peaceful for the less technologically advanced civilizations. Now scale that up to interstellar levels. An alien species capable of crossing light years would possess technology beyond our comprehension. If they viewed us the way we view ants, not as equals but as obstacles or resources, the consequences could be catastrophic. Hawking famously compared it to Native Americans encountering Columbus, a meeting that did not end well for one side. Fiction has long played with this fear. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds depicted Martians as ruthless invaders, harvesting humans like cattle. More recently, films like Independence Day and Arrival explored themes of annihilation and mistrust. But these stories aren't just entertainment, they're cultural rehearsals for a scenario we might one day face. Even scientists engaged in SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, debate whether broadcasting our location into space is reckless. After all, if the dark forest hypothesis holds true, any civilization announcing itself is essentially ringing the dinner bell. Yet not everyone agrees with this grim outlook. Some argue that a species advanced enough for interstellar travel would have moved beyond primal aggression. Resource scarcity, a common driver of conflict on Earth, might not exist for a civilization that can harness the energy of stars or create matter from scratch. Others suggest that any aliens observing us would have already detected our radio signals and industrial activity, meaning if they wanted to attack, they've had decades to do so. Then there's the question of motivation. Would an advanced civilization even care about Earth? Our planet might be as insignificant to them as a single grain of sand on a beach. The universe is full of uninhabited worlds rich in metals and water, making conquest pointless. Unless, of course, we possess something truly unique, not our resources, but our biology, our culture, or even our position in the galaxy. The dark forest hypothesis forces us to confront a chilling possibility. The reason we haven't heard from anyone isn't because aliens don't exist, but because the smart ones know better than to speak up. It's a cosmic game of hide and seek where the stakes are survival itself. So the next time you gaze at the stars, wondering who's out there, remember silence might not be emptiness. It might be the universe holding its breath. In the vast silence of space, sudden blasts of energy erupt without warning, cosmic screams so powerful they outshine entire galaxies for mere milliseconds. These are fast radio bursts, or FRB, some of the most mysterious signals ever detected. First discovered in 2007, these bursts pack as much energy as our Sun emits in 80 years into a fraction of a second. And while most scientists believe they're natural, possibly from neutron stars, black holes, or other extreme celestial events, a tantalizing fringe theory suggests they might be something far more deliberate, the fingerprints of an advanced civilization. Take FRB 121102, a repeating burst from a dwarf galaxy 3 billion light-years away. Unlike most FRBs, which fire once and vanish, this one pulses at regular intervals, almost like a beacon. Then there's FRB 1920, which bears an eerie resemblance to the WOW signal, with a frequency profile that some argue looks engineered. Scientists have catalogued hundreds of these bursts, but a handful defy easy explanation. Could they be cosmic lighthouses built by civilizations to navigate the void? Or perhaps accidental leakage from planet-sized power grids where alien megastructures harness the energy of stars? Mainstream astronomy leans toward natural causes. Magnetars, ultra-dense neutron stars with magnetic fields a trillion times stronger than Earth's, are prime suspects. When these stars quake, their crusts snap, releasing devastating energy flares. In 2020, astronomers caught one red-handed. A magnetar in our own galaxy emitted an FRB-like pulse, providing the first direct link. Other theories point to colliding black holes or evaporating primordial holes from the early universe, but even with these explanations, puzzles remain. Some bursts show bizarre, intricate structures in their signals, patterns that don't quite match known astrophysical processes. Then there's the sheer distance. Many FRBs come from galaxies so far away that the signals take billions of years to reach us. If they are artificial, the civilizations that made them might be long extinct, their messages outliving them like cosmic ghosts. Harvard researchers once floated the idea that FRBs could be interstellar light sails, alien ships propelled by beams of energy so intense they'd be visible across the universe. It's a wild notion, but the math checks out. A transmitter the size of a planet could, in theory, push a spacecraft to near light speed. Yet the biggest argument against the alien hypothesis is efficiency. Broadcasting signals that powerful across billions of light years seems wasteful when simpler methods like tightly focused laser pulses would suffice. Unless, of course, the goal isn't communication but something else entirely. Maybe FRBs are cosmic diagnostics, tools to probe the invisible matter between galaxies. Or emergency flares, a galactic SOS from civilizations on the brink. Recent breakthroughs only deepen the intrigue. In 2024, scientists detected an FRB originating from a cluster of ancient stars, a place where magnetars shouldn't exist. Another burst appeared to encode subtle polarization changes, as if twisting through space in a way that natural phenomena rarely do. The truth is, we're still at the beginning of this mystery. Every new detection rewrites the rules, so while odds favor natural origins, the allure of the unknown persists. After all, if an alien civilization did want to announce itself, what better way than a signal that burns brighter than a billion suns, if only for the blink of an eye? Whether cosmic accidents or engineered marvels, FRBs remind us that the universe still holds wonders beyond our wildest imagination. And sometimes the most extraordinary explanations are the ones we haven't ruled out yet. Deep in the Nevada desert, surrounded by razor wire and guarded by armed patrols, lies a place that's become synonymous with government secrecy and extraterrestrial intrigue: Area 51. Its very name conjures images of shadowy hangars hiding crashed alien saucers, or clandestine meetings between military officials and beings not of this world. But how much of this is Hollywood fantasy and how much is grounded in reality? To understand the truth, we have to peel back decades of myth, misinformation, and genuine mystery. The base's origins are surprisingly mundane. Established in the 1950s as a testing site for the U-2 spy plane, Area 51 was designed to be invisible both to Soviet satellites and prying civilian eyes. The U-2's incredible altitude made it nearly undetectable at the time, and the government needed absolute secrecy to protect Cold War intelligence operations. But secrecy has a way of breeding speculation. Locals reported seeing strange, high-flying objects, some glowing, others darting silently across the sky. Unbeknownst to them, they were witnessing cutting-edge human technology, not alien visitors. The government's refusal to confirm the base's existence only fueled the fire. If they wouldn't admit to testing planes, what else might they be hiding? Then came Roswell. Though the infamous 1947 incident occurred hundreds of miles away in New Mexico, conspiracy theorists later linked the two, suggesting wreckage and possibly bodies from the crash were secretly transported to Area 51 for study. This theory exploded in popularity after a 1989 interview with a man named Bob Lazar, who claimed to have worked on reverse-engineered alien spacecraft at a site near the base called S4. Lazar's descriptions of glowing propulsion systems and gravity-defying maneuvers captivated the public, even as scientists dismissed his claims as scientifically implausible. Yet his story endured, embedding itself in pop culture through films, TV shows, and endless speculation. But what do we actually know? Declassified documents reveal that Area 51 was indeed home to some of the most advanced aircraft ever built, not just the U-2, but the SR-71 Blackbird and the stealthy F-117 Nighthawk. These machines, with their otherworldly designs and capabilities, easily explain many UFO sightings. The government's habit of classifying even mundane details created a vacuum filled by wild theories. Even today, satellite images show strange structures, massive hangars, runways etched into the desert, and odd geometric patterns that could be test sites for next-gen technology. The most compelling evidence against the alien hypothesis, human nature, secrets leak. Over decades, thousands of people have worked at or near Area 51. If extraterrestrial technology were being studied there, the odds of maintaining total silence are astronomically low. Yet no definitive proof, no clear photos, no verified artifacts has ever emerged. Even Edward Snowden, who leaked mountains of classified intelligence, found no mention of aliens in the files he accessed. That doesn't mean the base isn't fascinating. Its very existence pushes the boundaries of what's possible, from hypersonic flight to drone technology, so advanced it blurs the line between science fiction and reality. The truth about Area 51 might be less about little green men and more about the extraordinary lengths governments will go to protect their innovations. And in a way, that's just as intriguing because it proves that sometimes the most incredible mysteries are the ones we create ourselves. What if the strange lights in our skies aren't visitors from distant stars, but our own descendants reaching back through time? The idea that UFOs could be future humans, explorers or historians from centuries ahead, turns the extraterrestrial hypothesis on its head. Instead of crossing light years of space, these travelers might be navigating something even more mind-bending, the river of time itself. Einstein's theory of relativity already tells us time isn't fixed. The faster you move, or the closer you are to a massive object like a black hole, the slower time passes for you compared to elsewhere. Astronauts on the International Space Station experience this minutely. They age slightly slower than people on Earth. Now imagine a civilization with technology millions of years ahead of ours. Could they manipulate time like we manipulate electricity, creating corridors to visit any era like flipping through pages in a book? The concept isn't pure fantasy. Theoretical physics allows for closed time-like curves, paths through spacetime that loop back on themselves, enabling time travel without violating known laws. Renowned physicist Kip Thorne calculated that a sufficiently advanced society might stabilize wormholes, cosmic shortcuts, into time machines using exotic matter. The catch: we've never detected such matter, and the energy required is unimaginable by today's standards. But to a civilization that's mastered quantum gravity or harnessed the power of neutron stars, these hurdles might be trivial. Stories of alleged encounters add eerie weight to the idea. Some abductees report beings that look almost human, but slightly off, elongated limbs, larger eyes, or an uncanny familiarity with our languages and customs. Could these be evolutionary descendants, genetically modified to adapt to future environments? Others describe crafts adorned with symbols resembling ancient scripts, as if blending in requires paying homage to the past. Even the infamous Men in Black, with their outdated clothing and awkward social behavior, fit the profile of time travelers struggling to mimic bygone eras convincingly. Then there's the Fermi Paradox angle. If the universe is teeming with life, why don't we see evidence? Maybe because the aliens we've glimpsed aren't extraterrestrial at all. They're us, bound by strict temporal non-interference rules to avoid disrupting their own timeline. Think of it as a cosmic version of the Prime Directive from Star Trek, where future historians observe key moments without revealing themselves. This could explain why UFOs so often appear during pivotal events, nuclear tests, space exploration milestones, or vanish before leaving definitive proof. They're not here to contact us, but to study their own origins. Skeptics counter with a brutal paradox. If time travel were possible, where are the tourists? Historical records lack unambiguous accounts of futuristic visitors, though some point to oddities like the Madison Cube in a 15th century painting, or Tesla's claims of receiving signals from the future. Others argue that any civilization capable of time travel would also master concealment, editing their presence from records as easily as we delete digital files. The most haunting possibility, if these visitors are from our future, their silence might be a warning. Perhaps they've seen how humanity's story ends and their mission isn't observation, it's prevention. Or maybe, like children sneaking into a museum after hours, they're just here to marvel at a world they've only read about. Either way, the thought lingers. The next time you see something unexplainable in the sky, ask not where it's from, but when. Imagine an alien scientist light years away, observing Earth through some unimaginable technology. What would they see? From their distant vantage point, our planet might appear as a swirling blue marble streaked with clouds, its surface flickering with lights at night. But zoom closer, and the contradictions emerge: gleaming cities bordered by war-torn wastelands, towering symphonies alongside cacophonies of gunfire. Would they marvel at our creativity or recoil at our chaos? Take something as simple as human warfare. To an interstellar observer, our battles might seem absurdly primitive. Creatures of the same species fighting over patches of land when the cosmos holds infinite resources. The irony is stark. We dream of uniting to explore the stars while still squabbling over borders drawn in sand. Yet those same violent impulses have also driven innovation. Spaceflight itself was born from Cold War competition. Would aliens recognize this tragic duality or dismiss us as hopelessly self-destructive? Then there's our art. A Beethoven symphony or a Van Gogh painting might resonate across civilizations as universal expressions of beauty and emotion. But our pop culture would baffle. Why do we ritualistically gather to watch inflated balls being thrown or obsess over flickering screens showing fictional dramas? Even our attempts at interstellar communication, like the Golden Record on Voyager, reveal odd choices. We included laughter and Chuck Berry's music, but no instructions on interpreting them. To aliens, our cultural artifacts might seem like a child's messy scrapbook, charming but cryptic. This leads to cosmic humility, the realization that we might not be the universe's pinnacle of intelligence. An advanced civilization could regard our greatest achievements the way we view an ant colony's dirt mounds, impressive for their scale but limited by their context. Our entire recorded history spans mere millennia, a blink in cosmic time. What if aliens measure progress in millions of years? They might see us as toddlers playing with nuclear matches, not yet wise enough to handle our own power. Yet humility isn't despair. Consider how we study less intelligent species on Earth with fascination, not disdain. Dolphins exhibit complex social bonds, octopuses solve puzzles, and elephants mourn their dead. We recognize value in these traits even if they're not human. Similarly, aliens might admire our tenacity, how we've clung to survival through ice ages and pandemics, or our relentless curiosity that propelled us from cave paintings to particle colliders. The truth is, we have no idea how we'd be perceived. An energy-based life form might find our flesh and blood existence revolting. A hive mind species could view our individualism as insanity. Or perhaps they'd envy our chaotic creativity, something their own perfectly ordered society lacks. That's the profound lesson of this question. It forces us to step outside our assumptions and see ourselves as the universe might, flawed, fascinating, and still figuring it all out. So the next time you feel certain about humanity's place in the cosmos, remember, there are infinite ways to exist and we've only tried one. Whether aliens would judge us as promising students or dangerous delinquents remains one of the most haunting unknowns. But perhaps that uncertainty is the very thing that keeps us reaching for the stars, not just to find them, but to finally see ourselves through their eyes. In the vast ocean of stars, one flickering pinpoint of light has stirred more debate than perhaps any other. KIC 8462852, better known as Tabby's star. Named after astronomer Tabitha Boyajian, who first documented its bizarre behavior, this distant sun behaves like no other. Most stars dim rhythmically as planets pass in front of them, but Tabby's star drops in brightness erratically. sometimes by as much as 22%, as if something colossal and misshapen is blocking its light. The strangest part, these dips don't follow any predictable pattern. For a brief, thrilling moment, scientists dared to whisper the unthinkable. Could this be evidence of an alien megastructure? The idea isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. In 1960, physicist Freeman Dyson proposed that an advanced civilization might eventually build vast energy collectors around their star, a Dyson sphere, to harness its power. Imagine a network of solar panels the size of planets, or even a shell enclosing the star completely, capturing every photon of light. To us, such a structure would appear as a star that flickers unnaturally, its light blocked in jagged, asymmetrical ways. Tabby's star seemed to fit the bill perfectly. The internet erupted with speculation. Had we finally found proof of a civilization so advanced they'd rearranged their solar system? But the universe loves to humble us. Further observations revealed more plausible explanations. Swarms of comets, for 1,000 of them, shattered by a passing star, could create irregular dust clouds thick enough to dim Tabby's star in bizarre ways. Then there's the interstellar dust theory, fine, uneven debris drifting between us and the star, filtering its light unevenly. Even exotic natural phenomena, like a warped protoplanetary disk or a ripped-apart planet, could mimic the signature of an artificial structure. The truth is, nature is endlessly creative in its chaos, often producing patterns we mistake for design. Tabby's star isn't alone in this cosmic masquerade. Other candidates like VVVWIT07 and EPIC 249706492 also show mysterious dimming. Some vanish almost entirely for weeks before brightening again, as if a colossal shade were being drawn across them. Each new discovery reignites the debate. Are we seeing the fingerprints of alien engineering, or just nature's flair for the dramatic? The search for megastructures forces us to walk a razor's edge between skepticism and wonder. On one hand, invoking aliens to explain cosmic oddities is a classic case of magical thinking, a trap scientists call the alien of the gaps fallacy. Yet dismissing the possibility entirely risks blinding us to genuine breakthroughs. After all, if an advanced civilization is out there, their artifacts might not look like anything we've imagined. A Dyson sphere could be a diffuse swarm of energy collectors, not a solid shell. Or they might have moved beyond starlight entirely, tapping into dark energy or quantum vacuum fluctuations. That's the real lesson of Tabby's star. It's not just about solving a mystery, it's about learning how to ask better questions. Every unexplained flicker, every anomalous dimming, is a reminder that the universe is wilder than our theories. Whether the answer turns out to be dust or something far more extraordinary, the hunt itself reshapes how we see our place in the cosmos. And perhaps that's the most alien idea of all, that the truth, when we finally find it, might be stranger than anything we've dared to dream. We tend to assume aliens would be something we could see or touch, silver ships descending from the sky, or strange creatures stepping out of the light. But what if they're already here, all around us, completely undetectable to our limited senses? The idea that advanced life forms might exist in dimensions or states beyond our perception isn't just science fiction, it's a theory grounded in cutting-edge physics. Take dark matter, for instance. Scientists estimate it makes up about 27% of the universe, yet we've never directly observed it. It doesn't interact with light or ordinary matter the way anything in our visible world does. Could dark matter be more than just a cosmic placeholder? Some theorists speculate it might host complex structures, even life operating on rules utterly foreign to us. Picture a civilization thriving in the space between atoms, their bodies woven from particles we can't measure, their cities floating like ghosts in what we perceive as empty space. Then there's the quantum realm, where particles exist in multiple states at once until observed. At that scale, reality behaves so bizarrely that some physicists argue alternate dimensions might brush against ours like pages in a book. If higher dimensions exist, as string theory suggests, beings that could perceive our three-dimensional world the way we'd view a flat drawing, limited, static. They might move through our reality effortlessly, watching without being seen, their very presence as imperceptible to us as radio waves are to someone without a receiver. History offers eerie parallels. Indigenous cultures worldwide speak of spirits or entities that exist just beyond sight, shadows at the edge of vision, whispers in the wind. Modern encounters often describe shadow people, fleeting figures that vanish when stared at directly. Skeptics dismiss these as tricks of the mind, but what if they're glimpses of something real, something our brains aren't equipped to fully register? Even animals behave strangely at times, barking at empty corners or refusing to enter certain spaces, as if sensing a presence we cannot. The scariest possibility isn't that they're hiding from us, it's that they might not even know we're here. An interdimensional species could be so vastly different that we're as insignificant to them as bacteria are to us. Their version of walking down the street might phase them through our living rooms without a second thought, their daily commute crossing galaxies in ways we'd mistake for cosmic radiation. Technology adds another layer. Our best detectors, radio telescopes, neutrino observatories, are built to find what we already understand. But what if alien communication uses dark energy fluctuations or encodes messages in the spin of entangled particles? We'd be like cavemen trying to decode Wi-Fi with a rock, completely missing the signals flooding around us. This isn't just speculation, it's a challenge to our arrogance. For centuries, we've assumed we're the pinnacle of intelligence, that any aliens would be roughly like us, just with better toys. But the universe doesn't owe us recognizable neighbors. Life could take forms more alien than our wildest nightmares. Sentient clouds in the atmospheres of gas giants, hive minds spread across nebulas, or beings woven from the fabric of space-time itself. So the next time you feel a chill down your spine or catch movement in your peripheral vision, consider this: the truth might not be out there. It might already be here, hovering just beyond the limits of your perception, waiting for science or evolution to finally let us see. What if the most disturbing UFO encounters aren't about what we see, but what suddenly stops working? For decades, military personnel and pilots have reported strange phenomena where unidentified objects appear to manipulate human technology with unsettling precision. Take the infamous 1967 incident at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, where 10 nuclear missiles simultaneously malfunctioned as glowing disks hovered nearby. Officers described their control panels lighting up with warnings, as if an invisible hand had flipped the off switch on America's most powerful weapons. Even more chilling, declassified documents confirmed the event, though officials blamed a guidance system anomaly, coincidence, or something more deliberate. This pattern extends beyond nuclear sites. Commercial pilots frequently report avionics failures during UFO encounters, compasses spinning wildly, radar screens filling with static, even complete engine shutdowns. In 1978, a civilian plane over New Zealand lost all radio contact and instrument functionality while being trailed by a cluster of bright lights for nearly 20 minutes. The phenomenon isn't limited to the air. Navy ships have logged cases where entire electronic systems were jammed during UAP sightings, with radar operators describing signals that appeared to spoof their equipment, creating ghost images or false targets. Skeptics argue these could be natural electromagnetic disturbances, but the consistency across cases is hard to dismiss. Scientists call it electromagnetic interference, or EMI, a well-documented effect where strong energy fields disrupt electronics. But the scale and selectivity of these incidents raise eyebrows. Why would natural phenomena target nuclear arsenals or aircraft with such surgical precision? Some theorists suggest advanced civilizations might use directed energy pulses to neutralize perceived threats, like a parent pulling the plug on a dangerous toy. Others propose these effects could be unintentional byproducts of propulsion systems so far beyond our understanding that their mere presence fries our primitive circuitry. Imagine a jet engine roaring past a steam locomotive. The turbulence alone would destabilize it. Now picture that gap spanning interstellar technology. Military whistleblowers add fuel to the fire. Former U.S. Air Force Captain Robert Sollers has testified that UFOs routinely tampered with nuclear facilities during the Cold War, sometimes reactivating deactivated warheads as a show of force. Soviet archives reveal similar incidents, including a 1982 event where a glowing sphere hovered over a Ukrainian missile base, allegedly reprogramming launch sequences before vanishing. If true, this suggests a chilling agenda, surveillance mixed with a warning about humanity's most destructive capabilities. The technological angle gets stranger. Some researchers speculate about spoofing attacks where alien craft might hack systems not through brute force, but by mimicking authorized signals. Modern cybersecurity experts warn about false data injection, where hackers feed deceptive inputs to sensors. Could UFOs be doing this on a cosmic scale, tricking radar into seeing phantom objects or making jets appear where they aren't? The 1952 Washington, D.C. flyover, where unknown blips swarmed the capital only to vanish when interceptors arrived, fits this pattern eerily well. Yet the most provocative theory revolves around intent. If these beings can manipulate our tech at will, why haven't they caused mass blackouts or chaos? Perhaps they're selective, only intervening when humanity toys with existential risks like nuclear war. Or maybe these incidents are tests, probing our defenses like a hacker checking for vulnerabilities. Either way, one thing's clear. In a world increasingly dependent on technology, the idea that something or someone could turn it all off with a thought is the ultimate loss of control. And that realization might be the most terrifying encounter of all. Humanity has gazed at the stars with wonder for millennia, finding gods in constellations and divine meaning in celestial events. But what if we're not the only ones searching for cosmic purpose? Imagine a civilization on a world with 3 suns, where night falls only once every century. How might their perception of the sacred take shape? The concept of alien religions forces us to confront profound questions about whether spirituality is a universal constant or a fluke of human psychology. Consider the foundations of Earth's faiths. Our oldest religions emerged from attempts to explain natural phenomena. Sun worship in cultures dependent on agriculture, storm gods where tempests shaped survival. Now transpose that to a planet orbiting a pulsar where deadly radiation bursts arrive like clockwork. Would its inhabitants venerate the star as a capricious deity, developing rituals to appease its rhythms? Or take a water world where vast oceans conceal mysteries beneath their waves. Might its intelligent species worship deep sea vents as life-giving fonts, much like ancient cultures revered sacred springs? The environmental pressures shaping survival could also shape cosmology, birthing belief systems unimaginable to land-bound humans. But what if their biology alters the equation? A hive mind species functioning as collective consciousness might develop religion without individual preachers or personal salvation. Their sacred texts could be encoded in pheromone patterns or shared neural impulses rather than words. Alternatively, a civilization that evolved without sight might conceive divinity through sound harmonic vibrations resonating through their planet's crust as the voice of creation. Even their afterlife could defy human parallels. Silicon-based beings might believe in uploading into planetary crystalline matrices, while energy-based life forms could aspire to merge with their star's plasma. Human religions often revolve around sacrifice and redemption, but what if a species never experienced scarcity? A post-scarcity alien society might lack concepts of sin or atonement, instead worshipping pure creativity or mathematical elegance. Their temples could be quantum computers running endless permutations of sacred algorithms. Conversely, a civilization that endured cyclical mass extinctions might develop a faith centered on cosmic renewal, viewing destruction as necessary for rebirth, an idea echoing certain Earth philosophies, yet magnified across geological timescales. Then there's the question of contact. How would human religions react to encountering extraterrestrial believers? History offers grim precedents. When cultures collided on Earth, spiritual differences often sparked violence. Yet there's also potential for transcendent unity. The 1990 One Earth Message project, meant to beam a planetary spiritual consensus into space, revealed striking overlaps across faiths, compassion, awe before nature's majesty. An alien religion might reflect similar convergences, suggesting that the universe's grandeur evokes reverence everywhere. Perhaps the most humbling thought is this: if aliens visited Earth, would they see our religions as charmingly primitive or horrifically misguided? A civilization that mastered interstellar travel might view our holy wars as children squabbling over invisible friends, or they might recognize something achingly familiar: the universal longing to belong to something greater, written in the unique language of each world's struggles. After all, in a silent cosmos, the first prayer might simply be the act of reaching out and wondering if anyone's listening. On March 13, 1997, the skies over Arizona became the stage for one of the most extraordinary mass sightings in modern history. It began just after sunset. Thousands of people across the state looked up to see a massive V-shaped formation of lights gliding silently overhead. Not blinking aircraft, not scattered stars, but a single, solid structure so enormous it blotted out patches of the night sky as it passed. Witnesses described it as surreal, almost dreamlike, an object the length of several football fields moving with impossible precision, making no sound despite its staggering size. Among those watching was Arizona's then governor, Fife Symington, who would later admit, quote, "It was enormous and inexplicable. Who knows where it came from?" The official explanation arrived days later: military flares. The Air Force claimed pilots from the nearby Barry Goldwater Range had been conducting nighttime exercises, dropping magnesium flares that descended slowly on parachutes. To some, this seemed plausible. Flares can indeed hover eerily, casting an otherworldly glow. But the cracks in this theory quickly showed. Witnesses insisted the lights they saw weren't flickering or descending like flares. They moved in perfect unison, maintaining a rigid formation as if attached to a single, solid object. Meteorologists noted the weather that night clear and calm, with no wind to scatter or distort the flares' trajectories. Even the timing was off. The military stated the flares were deployed at 8:15 p.m., yet reports of the lights began pouring in before 8 o'clock. Most damning, pilots familiar with flare exercises pointed out that standard flares don't form geometric shapes. They drift randomly, like embers from a fire. Then there were the secondary sightings. Hours before the main event, a similar formation was spotted near Henderson, Nevada, over 100 miles away. One witness, a retired police officer, tracked it with binoculars, describing a structured craft with 5 distinct lights and a curved underside. Later that night, around 10:30, calls flooded emergency lines from Prescott, Arizona, where residents reported a triangular object with lights at each corner, this time much closer to the ground, moving at treetop level. The consistency across these accounts, separated by time and distance, challenges the idea of scattered flares. The human element deepens the mystery. Take the case of Dr. Lynn Kaitai, a respected Phoenix physician who captured clear footage of the lights from her backyard. Initially hesitant to come forward, she feared professional ridicule. She eventually published her photos and testimony, arguing that what she witnessed defied conventional explanation. Or consider the hundreds of ordinary citizens, nurses, teachers, military veterans who reported similar details independently, with no incentive to fabricate stories. Mass hysteria doesn't explain why so many sober, observant people describe the same inexplicable phenomena. The phoenix lights linger in UFO lore because they strike at the heart of our skepticism. Here was an event witnessed by thousands, documented by professionals, and inadequately explained by authorities. It wasn't a blurry dot in the distance or a lone eccentric's tale. It was a shared experience that momentarily lifted the veil on something beyond everyday understanding. Whether it was a secret military prototype, an atmospheric anomaly, or something far stranger, the encounter left an indelible mark. Decades later, it still invites us to question what's possible when the night sky, so often taken for granted, suddenly stops playing by the rules. On Earth, life as we know it runs on carbon, the versatile element that forms the backbone of our DNA, proteins, and cells. But what if alien biology took a radically different path, not just in structure but in its very energy source? Picture a world where towering, photosynthesizing beings sway in crimson sunlight, their emerald-hued skins pulsing with slow, rhythmic waves of chemical energy. Here, there are no predators or prey in the traditional sense, just vast forests of sentient plants communicating through root networks, drawing sustenance directly from their star. The possibility isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Astrobiologists speculate that photosynthesis could be a universal strategy for life, especially on planets orbiting red dwarf stars, the most common type in our galaxy. These dimmer, cooler stars emit light skewed toward infrared wavelengths, which might favor alien plants with black or purple pigments optimized to absorb those energies. On Earth, we've already discovered cyanobacteria thriving in near-total darkness around hydrothermal vents, and certain fungi that harness radiation instead of sunlight. If life here can cheat the rules, why couldn't extraterrestrial organisms rewrite them entirely? Imagine a planet where the dominant life forms are more like coral reefs than mammals, static yet intelligent, growing over centuries into sprawling, interconnected superorganisms. Their thoughts might unfold over decades, their memories stored in crystalline structures within their stems. Without the need to hunt or flee, their evolution could prioritize depth over speed, leading to meditative philosophies humans would struggle to comprehend. Communication could occur through bioluminescent pulses or chemical trails, a language of patience and precision lost on our fast-paced, oxygen-burning brains. The challenges for such life are profound. Photosynthesis is efficient but slow, limiting mobility and reaction times. Yet on a world with eternal daylight, perhaps a tidally locked planet where one side always faces its sun, creatures might evolve to maximize every photon. Some theorists suggest these beings could develop solar batteries, storing energy during long periods of light to survive dormant phases like cacti on a cosmic scale. Others speculate about hybrid life forms, part plant, part animal, that photosynthesize while also consuming minerals or gases, blending strategies to adapt to harsh environments. Astrobiologists are already designing tools to detect these kinds of life from afar. Future telescopes might analyze the spectra of exoplanet atmospheres for signs of chlorophyll like pigments or unusual gas imbalances hinting at photosynthesis. The James Webb Space Telescope's observations of K218b, a potentially habitable exoplanet with hints of dimethyl sulfide, a compound linked to phytoplankton on Earth, offer a tantalizing whiff of what could be out there. Yet the real mind-bender is this: if plant-based aliens exist, would we even recognize them as alive? Their growth cycles could span millennia, their movements imperceptible to our short-lived perceptions. A forest might be a single thinking entity, its intelligence distributed across roots and leaves, with no central brain as we understand it. To them, humans might seem like frantic mayflies, buzzing past too quickly to notice the deeper rhythms of the cosmos. And that's the beauty of this idea. It doesn't just expand our search for life, it shatters our assumptions about what life even is. What if everything we know, the stars, the oceans, even our own thoughts, isn't real? Not in the way we assume, at least. The simulation hypothesis suggests our universe might be an artificial construct, an intricate digital facsimile created by some unfathomable intelligence. But here's the twist. What if those creators aren't gods or future humans, but extraterrestrials? Philosopher Nick Bostrom laid the groundwork for this idea with his famous trilemma. Either civilizations never reach simulation-capable levels, they choose not to run ancestor simulations, or we're almost certainly living in one. Tech visionary Elon Musk has echoed this, stating the odds we're in base reality are 1 in billions, but neither of them named the programmers. Could aliens be the architects of our digital cage? Think about how far human technology has come in just a few centuries, from steam engines to virtual reality. Now imagine a civilization millions of years ahead of us. Their computational power might make creating entire universes as trivial as we find coding a video game. To them, our suffering and joy could be mere data points in an experiment, or worse, entertainment. The concept isn't new. Ancient Gnostic texts spoke of a flawed world crafted by ignorant demiurges. Modern UFO lore takes it further, with abductees recounting stories of being told they're avatars in a cosmic simulation. Even the Mandela effect, those collective false memories of events that never happened, finds eerie resonance here. Could these glitches be artifacts of alien programmers tweaking the code? Critics argue this is just solipsism dressed up in sci-fi trappings. They point out there's no empirical evidence, just philosophical speculation, but counterarguments exist. Some physicists note oddities in quantum mechanics, like particles existing in multiple states until observed. That feels suspiciously like rendering optimizations in a simulation. The Fermi Paradox even fits. If the universe is a simulation, the aliens we're not finding might simply be outside the program watching. The most chilling version of this idea. We might not even be the main experiment. Our planet could be a background detail in some alien school project, a trivial subroutine in a vast cosmic processor. Alternatively, we could be the equivalent of lab rats in an ethical debate: do digital beings deserve rights? The answer might determine whether our creators hit delete. Or perhaps we're legacy code abandoned by our designers, left running in some forgotten corner of an alien server farm. Yet there's a strange comfort in this too. If we're simulations, our struggles are both meaningless and sacred. Meaningless in the grand scheme, but sacred as conscious experiences in whatever reality we inhabit. It also raises a tantalizing possibility. If we're living in alien software, could we hack it, find the backdoor? And if we did, what would we say to the beings on the other side? Maybe the greatest cosmic joke is that we're all NPCs except the ones who realize they're in the game. The universe is ancient, so ancient that entire civilizations could have risen and fallen billions of years before Earth even formed. Imagine stumbling upon the ruins of a long-dead alien empire scattered across the cosmos, their megastructures crumbling, their cities reduced to dust in the icy void. This isn't just science fiction, it's a serious branch of astronomy called archaeological SETI, the search for relics of extinct extraterrestrial intelligence. And if we ever find them, the implications could shatter our understanding of life's place in the cosmos. Take the concept of necrosignatures, telltale signs of a vanished civilization. On Earth, archaeologists spot ancient settlements by unnatural concentrations of metals or radioactive isotopes. Cosmic archaeologists look for similar anomalies on a stellar scale. A planet with a dense layer of synthetic molecules in its atmosphere, like chlorofluorocarbons or nuclear fallout, might hint at industrial activity that ended eons ago. Or consider a star system littered with irregular debris fields, the remnants of Dyson sphere fragments or shattered orbital habitats, their builders long gone. Even stranger, a pulsar emitting an unnatural pattern, like a final distress call frozen in time before the species that built it blinked out of existence. The timing is hauntingly plausible. Earth is late to the party. The universe became habitable roughly 10 billion years ago, while life here didn't emerge until about 4 billion years back. That leaves a 6 billion year head start for other civilizations to arise, flourish, and vanish without a trace. Some theorists suggest we might be cosmic orphans, born into a graveyard of dead supercivilizations. The Great Filter, the hypothetical barrier preventing life from reaching interstellar stages, might not lie ahead of us but behind us in the form of some inevitable catastrophe that doomed every advanced society before they could spread. Evidence could already exist in plain sight. Tabby's star, with its bizarre dimming, was once a candidate for alien megastructures, but what if we're seeing its ruins? A decaying Dyson swarm, its energy collectors now derelict, might explain the irregular shadows, or consider Oumuamua, the interstellar visitor that sparked debates. While most scientists lean toward natural explanations, a minority wonder if it could be a piece of wreckage, a shattered spaceship hull, or a monument eroded by eons of cosmic radiation. The search isn't just about morbid curiosity. Finding relics of dead aliens would answer one of humanity's biggest questions: are we alone? But the answer might be more unsettling than silence. A cosmos littered with fossils of failed civilizations suggests a grim universal law that intelligence inevitably self-destructs or succumbs to some unseen cosmic threat. Alternatively, it might reveal that survival is possible, but only under conditions so rare we've yet to meet them. Then there's the poetic tragedy of it all. Imagine decoding a fragment of alien art or music from some long-dead world, realizing their beauty and brilliance only after their light has faded forever. It would be like finding a buried library millennia after its librarians turn to dust, a reminder that even the grandest empires are fleeting against the cosmos' infinite backdrop. Yet amid the gloom, there's a strange kind of hope. If dead aliens exist, it means intelligence can arise, that the universe isn't sterile. Their ruins would be both a warning and a challenge, proof that greatness is possible, but survival is never guaranteed. And perhaps that's the lesson hidden in the stars. Civilizations are as fragile as they are extraordinary, and every generation inherits the responsibility to outlast the shadows of those who came before. The idea of an alien virus sounds like the plot of a Hollywood thriller, a microscopic invader hitching a ride on a meteorite or a returning space probe unleashing an unstoppable plague. But strip away the sci-fi drama and you're left with a chilling scientific possibility. Could extraterrestrial microbes pose a real danger to life on Earth? Or even stranger, could our own bacteria become an invasive species on another world? NASA takes these questions so seriously that they've spent decades developing planetary protection protocols, a set of planetary quarantine measures stricter than anything in a biohazard lab. Consider the precedent right here on Earth. When European explorers arrived in the Americas, they inadvertently brought smallpox, measles, and influenza diseases that devastated indigenous populations with no prior immunity. Now imagine that scenario on an interplanetary scale. A Martian microbe evolved in a completely different biochemical environment might interact with Earth life in ways we can't predict. It could outcompete native organisms, disrupt ecosystems, or worse, find a way to hijack our cells. Astrobiologists call this backward contamination, and while the odds are low, the consequences could be catastrophic. That's why every mission to Mars, like the Perseverance rover, undergoes brutal sterilization heated to temperatures that would incinerate most organic matter, then assembled in clean rooms where the air is filtered to surgical standards. Even the drill bits collecting soil samples are sealed in ultra-clean tubes, designed to remain pristine until opened in a maximum containment lab, but the risk goes both ways. Forward contamination focuses on preventing Earth microbes from hitchhiking to other worlds and sabotaging the search for native life. Take Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. If a poorly sterilized probe accidentally carries even a single resilient bacterium from Earth, it could survive in the Moon's subsurface ocean, muddying future discoveries, or in a nightmare scenario, wiping out fragile alien ecosystems before we ever detect them. The irony is palpable. In our quest to find life elsewhere, we might unknowingly destroy it. The challenge lies in our ignorance. Most planetary protection protocols assume alien life would resemble Earth's, carbon-based, water-dependent. But what if it's not? A silicon-based microbe might thrive in sulfuric acid or liquid methane, environments where Earth organisms would perish instantly. Our sterilization methods, calibrated for familiar biology, could miss entirely novel threats. Even NASA's toughest cleaning agents might be as useless against an alien pathogen as medieval leeches are against modern viruses. History offers sobering lessons. When Apollo 11 returned from the Moon, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were immediately quarantined in a modified Airstream trailer for 3 weeks. Not because scientists seriously expected moon germs, but because they couldn't rule it out. Today, with private companies like SpaceX planning Mars missions, enforcing rigorous biocontainment becomes even trickier. A corporation cutting corners to save costs might prioritize speed over safety, risking a biological Chernobyl in space. Yet some scientists argue we're overestimating the danger. After all, meteorites from Mars have been landing on Earth for eons. If Martian microbes were a threat, we'd likely know by now. Others point out that alien life might be so biochemically alien that it couldn't interact with Earth organisms at all, like oil and water. But betting the planet on that assumption seems reckless when the stakes are this high. The deeper question isn't just about safety, it's about ethics. If we find life on another world, do we have the right to alter its environment, even accidentally? Planetary protection isn't just shielding Earth. It's about becoming responsible stewards of a cosmos that might be richer and more fragile than we ever imagined. After all, the greatest threat might not be the viruses we bring back, but the carelessness we take with us. Mathematics is often called the universe's only universal language, a system of logic so fundamental that any advanced civilization would recognize it, whether they count in base 10 or communicate through sonar pulses. The idea isn't just poetic, it's been the backbone of humanity's attempts to reach extraterrestrial intelligence for decades. Take the Arecibo message beamed toward the star cluster M13 in 1974. This binary encoded transmission wasn't a greeting in English or Mandarin, but a series of prime numbers, atomic elements, and a crude stick figure of a human. The assumption was straightforward: math and science transcend culture. Hydrogen atoms vibrate the same way near a distant star as they do in our labs. But what if we're projecting our own biases onto the cosmos? Critics argue that mathematics, as we know it, might be as culturally specific as folk dances or religious rituals. Our number systems evolved from practical needs: counting crops, tracking lunar cycles, not some divine cosmic rulebook. An alien species with a radically different sensory reality might perceive quantities in ways we can't fathom. Imagine a civilization that experiences time non-linearly, or creatures whose brains process fractal patterns instinctively. To them, our rigid Euclidean geometry could seem as quaint as an abacus in the age of quantum computing. Even basic concepts like addition might not translate. A hive mind species might think in statistical probabilities rather than discrete integers, yet evidence suggests math has universal roots. The Fibonacci sequence appears in sunflower spirals and galaxy arms. The ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, pi, holds true whether you're on Earth or orbiting a black hole. SETI early attempts, like the Pioneer plaques with their pulsar maps, leaned heavily on these constants. The thinking was pragmatic. If aliens understand physics well enough to build radio telescopes, they'll recognize the language of the laws governing their tools. The debate intensifies with messaging extraterrestrial intelligence, a controversial effort to actively broadcast signals rather than passively listen. Projects like the Cosmic Call have sent mathematical primers into space, assuming aliens will decode them like cosmic Sudoku puzzles, but skeptics warn this is dangerously anthropocentric. What if our equations are misinterpreted as threats or worse, nonsense? The 1999 Arecibo reply hoax, where crop circles mimicked the original message format, exposed how easily symbols can be misread even by humans, let alone alien minds. Perhaps the most compelling counterargument lies in nature itself. Dolphins, our planet's second smartest species, grasp complex concepts like zero but communicate through clicks and body language, not algebra. If intelligence on Earth doesn't default to mathematical signaling, why assume aliens would? The truth might lie in synthesis, combining math with something more primal. The Arecibo message included a DNA helix. Future transmissions could blend geometry with universal sensory experiences, like the spectrum of a star's light or the vibration of molecules in water. Ultimately, the question isn't just about how aliens might communicate, but how willing we are to confront the limits of our own understanding. Math may be our best guess, but the universe has a habit of defying expectations. After all, if we ever do receive a reply, the real shock might not be that they used numbers, but that they chose something entirely unexpected, forcing us to rethink not just how we talk to the stars, but how we define intelligence itself. Nestled in Utah's remote Uinta Basin, Skinwalker Ranch has earned a reputation as the strangest place on Earth, a sprawling 500 acres where the usual rules of reality seem to twist and snap. The name itself comes from Navajo legends of shape-shifting entities, but the ranch's modern mysteries began in the 1990s when billionaire Robert Bigelow's National Institute for Discovery Science launched an unprecedented paranormal investigation. What they documented wasn't just fleeting shadows or blurry lights, but a relentless onslaught of phenomena that defied explanation. Take the infamous hitchhiker effect, a bizarre pattern where anyone who spends time on the property starts experiencing supernatural events elsewhere. Researchers reported poltergeist activity following them home, objects moving on their own, unexplained injuries appearing overnight, even phantom figures glimpsed in mirrors. One scientist described waking to find his hotel room's furniture rearranged into perfect geometric shapes, while others captured thermal images of invisible entities darting through their labs. These weren't campfire tales, they were observations from trained observers armed with state-of-the-art equipment. Then there are the UFOs. Witnesses describe craft that don't just fly but teleport, vanishing from one spot and reappearing miles away instantaneously. In one chilling incident, a ranch hand watched a massive triangular object descend silently into a field only for the grass beneath it to ignite in perfect concentric circles, as if scorched by an invisible energy pattern. Radar operators at nearby Hill Air Force Base once tracked an object over the ranch moving at Mach 2 before stopping dead in midair, violating every known law of physics. But the anomalies aren't limited to the skies. The property seems to harbor creatures ripped from folklore. Researchers have documented wolf-like beasts that vanish when shot, glowing orbs that stalk livestock, and even alleged portals, vertical shafts of light where animals reportedly disappear without a trace. In 1997, a team witnessed a bipedal, 7-foot-tall figure with luminescent eyes walk through a closed gate, leaving no footprints in the fresh snow. These accounts aren't centuries old, they're meticulously recorded in scientific logs. What makes Skinwalker Ranch so compelling isn't just the volume of strangeness, but the science behind the scrutiny. Bigelow's team installed motion sensors, radiation detectors, and 24-hour surveillance. They captured footage of cattle mutilations with surgical precision. No blood, no tracks, just organs removed as if by laser. Soil samples from hotspots showed bizarre magnetic anomalies and elevated levels of rare isotopes. Even skeptics admit the data is perplexing. When the Pentagon's secretive UFO program, OTIP, took interest in the ranch, they classified their findings at the highest levels. Yet the ranch resists easy answers. Some theorists suggest it sits atop a natural window area, a geological or electromagnetic fault that warps space-time. Others propose it's a deliberate alien or interdimensional testing ground, a cosmic lab where humanity is the experiment. The Navajo traditionalists maintain the land has always been alive with spirits, warning that modern science lacks the framework to understand forces older than recorded history. Today, under new ownership and the scrutiny of the History Channel's The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, the mysteries only deepen. Infrared cameras now reveal invisible entities stalking the perimeter, while drones disappear without a trace over certain zones. The most unsettling revelation: the phenomena appear to react to investigation equipment fails only when pointed at key areas, as if the ranch itself refuses to be decoded. Whether you believe it's a portal, a prank, or a planetary blind spot, one thing's certain: Skinwalker Ranch doesn't just defy explanation, it mocks the very idea that explanations exist. Every day, billions of digital signals race through Earth's atmosphere, radio broadcasts, Wi-Fi networks, satellite transmissions, all leaking into space like a cosmic whisper. If an alien civilization had the right technology within 100 light years, they could be sifting through our internet traffic right now, watching cat videos or decoding nuclear launch codes with equal ease. The idea isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Since the first radio broadcast in the late 19th century, humanity's electronic footprint has been expanding outward at the speed of light, forming an ever-growing bubble of our presence in the Milky Way. The earliest episodes of I Love Lucy have already traveled over 70 light-years, potentially reaching hundreds of star systems by now. But how detectable are we really? Modern digital signals are weaker than old analog TV transmissions, which beamed megawatt pulses into space like lighthouse flares. Today's fiber optic cables and directional satellites focus energy downward, making our internet far fainter against the cosmic background noise. Still, military radar and deep space communication arrays, like NASA, a deep space network, emit powerful, targeted signals that could stand out like fireworks to a sophisticated alien observatory. The Arecibo message, intentionally sent toward star clusters in 1974, was a mere 3-minute burst, but its focused energy made it detectable across thousands of light years. Our everyday digital noise might be messy by comparison, but for a civilization with advanced signal processing, even our internet could resemble a bustling interstellar radio station. The content they'd intercept paints a paradoxical portrait of humanity. Imagine aliens analyzing our global data stream, social media feuds alongside Nobel Prize lectures, TikTok dances mixed with emergency distress signals. Would they see a species on the brink of self-destruction or one teeming with creativity? The first TV signals they receive might show wartime bombings followed by Olympic triumphs, a chaotic mosaic with no context. Even our attempts at communication, like the Golden Record's curated snapshots of Earth, would clash with the unfiltered reality of our digital exhaust. Then there's the question of time lag. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is 4 light-years away. Any aliens they're observing us wouldn't be seeing our present. They'd witness Earth as it was in 2020. The farther out they are, the further back they peer. A civilization 100 light-years away would currently receive broadcasts from the era of the first moon landing. This creates a bizarre scenario where our past selves are someone else's breaking news, and any reply they send would take just as long to reach us. By the time we got a message saying, "We see you," we might have already transcended radio or gone extinct. The longevity of these signals adds another layer. Unlike stone tablets or parchment, radio waves don't degrade in the vacuum of space, they just grow fainter as they spread. In theory, our earliest broadcasts will keep traveling indefinitely, meaning a future alien species a million years from now could still stumble upon Hitler's speeches or the Beatles' Abbey Road. The irony is haunting. Our most enduring legacy might not be pyramids or poetry, but accidental leakage from a planet that stopped transmitting centuries earlier. Yet the most profound implication isn't whether aliens can watch us, it's whether they'd care. The universe is vast, and our data might be nothing more than static in an endless sea of natural radio emissions. Or worse, we might be the cosmic equivalent of a reality TV show, mildly entertaining but not worth canceling dinner plans over. Either way, the thought lingers. Every time you send a text or stream a movie, remember, it's not just your phone listening. Somewhere out there, in the silent dark between the stars, an unknown audience might already be tuning in. Imagine an entire civilization thriving in perpetual darkness, cut off from sunlight by miles of unyielding ice. This isn't science fiction, it's a real possibility on worlds like Jupiter's moon Europa, where a vast subsurface ocean churns beneath a frozen crust. Earth's own deep-sea ecosystems prove life can flourish in extreme isolation, from hydrothermal vent communities to the eerie, pressure-adapted creatures of the abyssal plain. But what if these alien oceans don't just harbor microbes? What if they're home to intelligence? The parallels to Earth are striking. Around hydrothermal vents here, entire food webs rely not on photosynthesis but chemosynthesis, bacteria converting toxic minerals into energy, sustaining creatures like giant tube worms and blind shrimp. Europa's vents, heated by tidal forces from Jupiter's gravity, could host similar ecosystems. Now picture a species evolving in that environment over millions of years. Without light, vision might be irrelevant, replaced by sensitivity to subtle currents or electrical fields. Communication could involve bioluminescent pulses or low-frequency vibrations traveling far through dense water. Their cities might cluster around volcanic vents, structures woven from mineral deposits or bioluminescent coral-like growths. But intelligence in such a world would face unique challenges. Tool use seems unlikely without fire or metallurgy, yet octopuses on Earth manipulate objects with remarkable dexterity despite their aquatic limits. An alien species might engineer with biominerals, growing tools from reinforced cartilage or secreting acids to shape rock. Navigation presents another puzzle. Without stars or landmarks, how would they map their world? Earth's whales use magnetic fields and sonar. Europa's inhabitants might perceive the moon's gravitational tides as a tactile grid, sensing Jupiter's pull like an omnipresent compass. The deepest question is one of awareness. Could a civilization develop abstract thought without a visible cosmos to inspire it? Their myths might explain the ice ceiling as the boundary of creation, their sky a solid dome trembling with distant impact. Mathematics could emerge from the physics of fluid dynamics or the rhythmic eruptions of their vents. Without day or night, their concept of time might revolve around thermal cycles or the slow cracking of ice sheets above. The implications for exploration are profound. If we ever send probes to Europa's ocean, we'd need sensors attuned to non-visual signals, chemical trails, pressure waves, even bioelectric fields. A drilling robot might be as disruptive to them as an asteroid impact, raising ethical dilemmas about contamination or first contact. And if we found them, or they found us, how would we bridge the gap between a species shaped by infinite open water and one born under open sky? The answer might redefine not just what we consider alien, but what we recognize as intelligence. After decades of searching, debating, and theorizing, we're left staring at the cosmos with more questions than answers. The greatest unsolved alien mystery isn't just one puzzle, it's the staggering pile of paradoxes that refuse to fit together. Start with the UFO Enigma. Countless credible sightings describe craft performing maneuvers that shred our understanding of physics. Instant acceleration, right-angle turns at thousands of miles per hour, vanishing without sonic booms or heat signatures. Navy pilots have tracked objects descending from 80,000 feet to sea level in seconds, defying inertia in ways that would liquefy human pilots. The Pentagon's own footage shows these anomalies aren't sensor glitches, yet no government has claimed responsibility. Either someone's developed technology centuries ahead of public knowledge, or we're witnessing something fundamentally beyond human design. Then there's the Fermi Paradox's deafening silence. With billions of potentially habitable planets in our galaxy alone, the absence of definitive contact feels like walking through an empty mansion when you swear you heard voices. The Great Filter theory suggests civilizations might inevitably hit a self-destruct button, but if that's true, why no archaeological traces of those who came before us? Where are the derelict megastructures, the ancient probes, the faint radio whispers of species that burned bright and brief? The universe's 13-billion-year head start makes the lack of cosmic company either a statistical fluke or a chilling omen. Consider the biological riddle. Life on Earth emerged almost instantly once conditions stabilized, yet the leap from single cells to complex organisms took billions of years. Is intelligence a rare cosmic accident, or are we simply not recognizing other forms of sentience? The oceans might teem with consciousness that communicates in chemical gradients or electrical pulses, completely alien to our primate-derived expectations. Even the building blocks defy consensus. Could silicon-based life or plasma beings exist undetected because we're only searching for carbon copies of ourselves? The abduction phenomenon adds another layer of impenetrable weirdness. Thousands report eerily similar encounters, medical examinations, lost time, messages about environmental collapse. While sleep paralysis and cultural contamination explain many cases, the physiological traces, unexplained implants with isotopic anomalies, radiation burns in precise patterns resist easy dismissal. These narratives haunt the intersection of neuroscience and potential contact, leaving us wondering if we're dealing with mass delusion or a systematic study we can't comprehend. Perhaps the ultimate mystery is meta. Why do these questions grip us so intensely? From cave paintings to modern SETI programs, humanity's obsession with cosmic neighbors speaks to something primal. The possibility of aliens holds up a mirror to our fears of isolation, our hopes for transcendence, and our dread of being insignificant. Every unidentified light in the sky is a Rorschach test, revealing what we believe about intelligence, technology, and our place in the universe. Until that one undeniable piece of evidence lands, whether it's a microbial fossil, an intercepted signal, or something descending from the clouds, the greatest mystery remains our own burning need to know, and what that says about the strange, hopeful, terrified species staring up at the stars. After exploring these 30 questions, from ancient astronaut theories to rogue AI time travelers, from microbial oceans to cosmic graveyards of dead civilizations, one truth becomes undeniable. Humanity's search for extraterrestrial life is about far more than just finding aliens. It's a mirror held up to our own fears, hopes, and deepest existential puzzles. Each unexplained signal, each bizarre encounter, each haunting cosmic silence forces us to confront how little we truly understand about the universe and ourselves. Think about the journey we've taken. We've stared into the Fermi Paradox's yawning void, wondering if the Great Filter is behind us or ahead. We've imagined civilizations so advanced they've merged with machines or retreated into digital simulations. We've questioned whether sentience might wear forms we can't even recognize, silicon forests pulsing with slow thoughts, or plasma beings dancing in the hearts of stars. We've weighed the spine-chilling possibility that we're alone against the equally unsettling notion that we're being watched. But here's the beautiful contradiction at the heart of it all. The more answers we chase, the more mysteries we uncover. Every time we point a telescope at Tabby's star or drill into Martian soil, we're not just hunting for life, we're learning how to ask better questions. Maybe that's the real purpose of this quest, not to find little green men, but to grow beyond our planetary cradle, to stretch the boundaries of what we believe is possible. So whether you're a skeptic who thinks UFOs are just misidentified drones, or a believer convinced the truth is buried in some classified government vault, stay curious. Keep looking up. That next strange light in the sky, that next anomaly in deep space data, could be the puzzle piece that changes everything. And until then, the universe is richer for keeping us guessing. What's your favorite alien mystery? Drop it in the comments. We're all detectives in this cosmic cold case. And if you're hungry for more deep dives into space's greatest enigmas, hit subscribe. The stars have kept their secrets for billions of years, but humanity's just getting started.